Welcome back to the Green Yard. It is a beautiful September afternoon here in Phoenix, Arizona, Zone 9B. We're over here in the food forest part of the Green Yard. Our temperatures have kind of cooled off a little bit, which is awesome, definitely compared to our incredible record-breaking summer where we had so many days over 110 degrees, including a ton over 115. It was really summer that put a lot of stress, not only on us, but also on the fruiting and flowering trees here in the Green Yard. So luckily we've had a little bit of reprieve now. Lows are in like the mid to low 70s, highs are in the upper 90s, low hundreds. It really is perfect. This is the time of year when people want to live here in Phoenix, Arizona. It is amazing. All of our trees are loving this temperature. It's still hot enough that they are putting out a whole bunch of new growth, especially after that crazy summer. I know we've been putting out a lot of planting videos. Most of them were filmed last July. I put a whole bunch of plants in the ground, specifically over in kind of the entrance part of the food forest back in July. And now we're at a point where I'm not planting anymore. I want to start doing those growing updates again. So I'm planning on, I know we already did our jackfruit tree. We already did our cherry mango, which we got 3 mangoes off of this year. I want to do one on our Hall avocado over there, as well as what we're talking about today, which is our beautiful soursop tree here. Soursops themselves, they're native to South America. They create a very large, delicious fruit. I think they're delicious, at least. When we were in Peru, in Tarapoto, they specifically grew a lot of that soursop, a lot of that guanabana in that part of Peru. It's high elevation Amazon, and they do really, really well in that part of Peru. So I just can't get over how much this tree is growing. When I planted it, it was about half the size it is now. It's survived and kicked butt during our last record-breaking winter, as well as during our it's over now, so our last record-breaking summer as well. So it's really amazing to see just how much it's growing and just how beautiful of a tree it is. So let's talk about growing a soursop tree here in Phoenix, Arizona, Zone 9B. Here we go. Soursop tree is currently putting out a whole bunch of new growth. It's really, really fun to see. Just all of these brand new leaves coming out. This time last year, it put on, I would say, at least 8 inches of new growth before we got cold. We got cold really quick last year. I was looking back at my previous videos, and we started getting cold back in the end of October. So I'm hoping this year we last and we don't get cold where I have to cover or protect any of our fruiting or flowering tropical trees until we get into November. Maybe late November or December would be perfect. Gives all of our trees a little extra growing time. So we're over here in the food forest part of our green yard. We have our papaya tree. This one's starting to put off a little bit of flowers here, not an exorbitant amount. Some of our other papayas that we have in the green yard actually have giant papayas on us now, on them now. We have our plumeria. It's done pretty well over the summer. This is our cherry mango. You can see right now it's flushing out a whole bunch of new growth. Really, really pretty tree with really, really pretty new growth there as well. This is a Jacote over here. It's not the original Jacote that we had in the green yard during our planting video. It is a new one, but it has just taken off. It was about half that size 2 months ago. They really, really like our heat. We just have to get it through the winter. African tulip in the background, as well as our jackfruit tree doing well right there. Koi fish pond with all of our wonderful fish in it. And then we are back to our plumeria and one of my favorite trees, which I plan on doing a growing video on here soon, are jaboticaba. Um, Ultra slow growers, but this one has put on a lot of new growth this year and is starting to actually branch out, become a lot bigger than it was before. So I'm hopeful that we'll have positive things happen in the near future for it. Behind our soursop tree, we have our santal tree in the full sun here, as well as our um, two bananas and our loquat there. So one thing that I want to mention when we're talking about our soursop, and part of the reason that I think it's been so successful is due to its current microclimate, right? We talk a lot about microclimates here in the green yard. This one is underneath that giant mulberry tree. So it gets a whole lot of shade in the afternoon. In fact, I don't think it's gotten any sun in the afternoon after about 10 o'clock or so, even in the middle of the summer when it was roasting at 115 degrees. Our santal, on the other hand, is getting some sun, which is really amazing that it's doing so well with that afternoon sun and putting out new growth. Part of our success for our soursop comes from our heavy mulching that we have going on at the base of the tree. So if we go in and we dig in a little bit here and we look under some of this mulch, we'll notice that it's not entirely that clay soil anymore. It's definitely more of a mixed soil. That's what we like to see. Surprising thing though is that our soursop doesn't have the same organic matter as some of our other trees do when it comes to that mulch breaking down. And it is still thriving. Here's a new branch right here that's just coming off. Sulfur is your friend with our soursops. They do like that lower pH. So when we add in that sulfur, it allows the plant to take up the nutrients because it lowers the pH of the soil. And I've noticed that it ends up creating a much better and healthier tree, no matter what is fertilized with. Although I've been fertilizing all of my fruiting and flowering trees with fish emulsion once a month, and I have seen an insane amount of growth ever since I started doing that. So I'm wondering if just that little bit of food, that fish emulsion, is really helping to create the nutrients in the soil that these plants need in order to thrive and survive. This is a beautiful leaf right here too. Look at how big this one is. Giant. I know this was a short video on our soursop tree here. Um, it's really when we first started the green yard over 3 years ago, I had taken one from our old house and brought it into the green yard. I didn't have any mulch down, our soil wasn't prepared or mixed or anything like that, and it really struggled, and it ended up dying after our winter in 2020. So it didn't make it through that winter. This one made it through last winter. Granted, I covered it, and if you have questions about covering your tropical fruit trees, you can definitely see the link for the video here. But I did cover both our santal and our soursop together last winter. It actually still went and lost all its leaves anyways in the spring when I uncovered it after we got above 50 degrees. Almost like it needed to lose those leaves to put out those brand new leaves and start really pushing that new growth like it is right now. Struggled a little bit this summer as well when we had our stretch of days where it was just really, really hot. Um, almost like it just couldn't cool down. It still made it through. Like I mentioned before, it's pushing out new growth now, so it definitely made it through that hot time. But if it got any more sun than about 10 o'clock, it would not have made it through that time. So the microclimate for these ultra tropical trees is really, really important when trying to get them to grow here in the Phoenix area. I have a feeling that this tree is going to thrive and do really well. And hopefully someday I might even get fruit off of it. So that's my goal. I know I put in our Adamoya as well as our custard apple, which I haven't released a video on yet either. Hopefully we can have kind of a grouping of fruits that are very similar in taste with our Soursop, our custard apple, and our Adamoya. I know they're different, but they, I believe, if I remember correctly, they come from the same family or near close to the same family. So really, really excited for the future of this tree, the future of the food forest part of the green yard. If you have any questions, if I didn't cover anything about growing our soursop here in Phoenix, please feel free to comment below. Let me know what questions you have. I try to be as responsive as possible with those. And maybe even if you want to see a video on one of our other trees like our jabuticaba or our African tulip or something else that I haven't updated in a while, go ahead and comment below as well for that. So as always, live green, plant lots, and of course have fun. We'll see you next time.